Now with us in the studio from the Stems, we have Dom, how are you?
Hi.
And Richard, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Now back in Sydney, you're doing a bit of a round robin at the moment, all around Australia. Where are you heading to after Sydney?
We're going up to Queensland for a week of gigs, and then back to Sydney for a few shows, and we're sort of doing the whole coast, Melbourne, Adelaide, everywhere.
It's a bit of a change from the old days, because when I first knew of the Stems, you were based in Perth. How different is it now from then, of course?
Well, we're kind of based on the road. We still call Perth our home, and that's where we live, but we're doing so much touring that it's more or less a suitcase job.
Well, you got stuck on the Nullarbor, didn't you, on the way over here?
Yeah, I did. I was driving the van across, and the car broke down about 12 hours out of Perth, so had to hitch to Port Augusta, and it's quite a traumatic experience.
I can imagine. It's not the greatest place in the world to get stuck, is it really, the Nullarbor?
Yeah, there's nothing out there, I can tell you now.
Do you kind of feel isolated being in Perth? Because people in the east always look at Perth as a long way away, which of course it is, but is it a problem for a band, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit of a problem because, you know, our record label's in Melbourne and most of the touring we do is on the East Coast, so it costs us a little bit more money to tour, and plus a lot of decisions are made on the phone, so they're the problems. But then the positive thing is that we don't overexpose ourselves, so every time we do a tour, you know, we get fairly good crowds. We don't play all the time.
Well, you're still living in Perth. Have you thought about moving?
Many times, but we still haven't decided. So.
Yeah. It is a long way away, though. That's probably the only problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the financial side of it is, I suppose that's the biggest barrier for touring. You know, it costs us so much money to get over here.
Yeah, well, even anywhere, you know, from Adelaide across, is going to cost you a lot of money to travel.
That's right. But it's good for recharging the batteries.
Yeah. What about the indies? When you first kicked off, you released a couple of records. In fact, you had 2 singles that I remember and an EP that came through on, I think all 3 came through on Citadel.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. How hard was that to get together and actually get the thing released?
Well, originally we decided that we were going to release a single by ourselves, and an ex-manager took the tapes to
was that the
Sydney.
General?
No, that was Neil Wedd.
The General came along later.
Oh, right. We'll remember the General.
Yeah.
And so what happened with that? What happened then?
Well, a few labels liked it. There was a couple that showed interest, and we went with Citadel. And it just went from there, really. Citadel's a fairly well-established label, and it helped us quite a bit.
So how did Mushroom get involved? Because Mushroom have now signed you up, and you've recorded, of course, an album, which has come through on Mushroom. How did they get involved in the story?
Well, they've been keeping an eye on us for a while, over a period of months. They were checking the band out, and they'd approached us. A couple of labels had approached us, and it was a matter of just negotiating and going through the process of signing to a bigger label. And it happened about August of last year.
Because I know a lot of people have been interested in Perth. There's always been record companies flying across, checking out all the bands, especially about a year ago. I think the Hoodoo Gurus did a lot of positive things for Perth, where they sort of encouraged people to go across there to check out and see if there's any more coming through. Did that kind of thing happen? I mean, were there a lot of bands moving up from that, from the exposure from Hoodoo Gurus?
I don't really know. There's a couple of bands that have started to release independent singles and stuff, but other than us, I don't think there's too many other bands that are really doing what we're doing, touring the East and stuff.
Well, it's the Triffids, of course.
Yeah, the Triffids are more or less based overseas, though.
But I think Perth's always looked at as a cover city, cover bands.
Yeah, that's
Is that
right.
a handicap?
Yeah, a little bit of a handicap. I don't know why. It's just the mentality that people want to, you know, see a band play their favourite songs, you know, from the top 40, I guess.
And they do very well in Perth, we might add.
Yes, they do.
So if there's any inspiring cover bands who want to make a quick quid, go to Perth. I think that's the way to go. Now, your album is at first sight, Violet to Blue, which has just been released. Now, this has caused a bit of an interest in Europe as well, because you're off there very soon, aren't you? Off
That's
to Europe
right.
for a tour. 7 weeks?
Yeah, a 7-week tour, and we're starting, I think, the middle of October. Yeah. Well, most of our independent records have done quite well in Europe, and this one's no exception, so...
Okay. Well, we'll hope to catch you very soon when you come back. But
Thanks
for the time being, let's have a look at the single, At First Sight.